Hey y'all, it's your girl Jamaica coming live. Well, I always say live. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just do that, y'all. Coming live and in color, cause I am live. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you at. So let me tell y'all, I just posted a video. I know. So if y'all see me, y'all be like, why she in the same clothes? Y'all already know I'm gonna be trying to record a couple videos back to back because I got time. I really don't actually. Actually, I'm supposed to be grading these kids' work. Because we're gonna be calling parents because they don't do their work and they looking like they might fail. And I told them we need to have a conversation with everybody. Everybody need to come. There's a meeting in the ladies' room. I'll be back real soon. But everybody need to come to the table. We gotta have a come to Jesus moment. Cause let me tell y'all, this is what I told my kids today. Number one, they don't turn in work on time. And they don't even turn in work early late, right? And let me explain what early late is. My On my board when they come into the classroom, I have the work I have the days. So Monday, 3 assignments, Tuesday, 3 assignments, Wednesday, 2 assignments. It may vary. Sometimes Monday there's only two. But within all of these assignments, right? So usually Monday we do some in-class work. In-class works means that we're gonna read the story. Sometimes they're reading it on their own, they're reading it with me, we read it together, you read it with your shoulder partners. Whatever it is, you're reading a story or a poem, and then we answer some questions. Usually it's 2 pages, right? 2 pages of questions. The first page is usually about 3 questions. The second page is 2 questions. So you're telling me in 50 minutes, and we're not even gonna spend that much time on it, 15 to 20 minutes, you can't read a couple paragraphs, depending on what it is now, because if it's a poem, it's going to be shorter than that. But you mean tell me 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, 20 minutes max, 10 to 20 minutes, you can't read this and answer 5 questions. That's a problem for me. But this is why I time it. This is why we do it together. This is why we work as a unit. Because now there's really no excuses. This has been done in the allotted amount of time that leaves you with anywhere from 20 to 30 additional minutes. Well, let me take that back. It's a 50-minute class period. Usually I give them the first 5 minutes, but let's say it takes about 15 minutes out of that 50. So yeah, that's about right. So anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. You mean from 20 to 30 minutes you can't log on online and complete an assignment. Usually the assignment is based off the same reading material, so you're not reading anything new. Hello. You're just answering questions. And the way that is broken down, we use McGraw-Hill on campus. And so the first piece would be the story. The second piece would be maybe a video, or it will be a model of what is about to happen. Then it'll be like the we do aspect of it. So that means that it'll do half of the work for them, and then they just do like a little fill in the blanks, or type in their response, or move, not multi-select, but drag and drop. And then the last one is a you do thing, which 9 times out of 10 is not going to be more than 20 questions. Usually there's anywhere from 3 to 12 to 15. Max is usually about 15, depending on what the assignment is. But on average, let me not say max. On average is about 15 questions. That's on average, and that's rare. The majority, and I left it on my table. The majority of it is under 10 questions. So you're telling me a story that we've already read together. We answer 5 questions within 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. You have an additional 30 minutes to, you're not even needing to reread the story, but just in case you do, you reread the story, you answer about 15 questions. And sometimes I allow them to work together. And I don't know if that's a problem or what. Because even when they're not allowed to work together, they pretend that they're doing it. When I'm walking around, I come to them and they're got their computer fixed on whatever, the work is supposed to be, and I walk off, and then they go back to doing whatever. They've learned how to split screens. They very intelligent students. You could do all the wrong things. Let's just put a little bit of that energy towards the right. And so, excuse me, y'all. I need some water. But yeah, hold on. All right, y'all. I had to get a little water because those deluxe mixed nuts was coming back from me a little caught in the right. So anyway, so most of the assignments, like I say, it's on average about 12 questions. And I really don't even feel like that. I think the last 7 assignments, I had one that was 20 questions, one that was 12 questions, one that was 15 questions. The rest were uh 3 to 5 questions. So you're telling me on average, even with that, let's say the average is going to be about 10 questions. The median is about 10 questions. But you have, even with that, remember I just listed off, it's going to be about six to 8 assignments. You're still only doing 2 to 3 per day, and you get to take it home as homework. And I put it out this week, definitely. I put it out the previous week, 2 days early. I put it out on a Thursday. Well, some of it went out on Wednesday, some went out on Thursday. But you have my assignments stay open until Friday previously. However, I tell you when what is due. So on the board it'll tell you, or even online on Schoology where I put the updates, it'll say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. These are the 8 assignments that are due. And on the board in the classroom, it'll say Monday these 3, Tuesday these 2, Wednesday these 3. But if you're working from home because you're sick or whatever else, it's just telling you by Wednesday you need to have these 6 things completed. And then Thursday, Friday, I try to do writing because they need to be able to articulate themselves a little bit better. And because they don't, and I won't say they can't, because they don't, and they find it as a challenge, they don't try to do the work. And it's not going to allow them to be as successful as they need to. So my what I expressed to them was, it amazes me that for some reason you can't get the work done when it's due. And I tell you, you can do it on or before. All the work is due on or before the day that's listed. You can't do it. It's so hard. You overwork. You don't know what's happening. But when I put in all these zeros in the grade book and you see yourself failing, and most of them have seen a F for the majority of this semester, but that's because the work wasn't being turned in. And I give you an opportunity and I say, okay, we're setting aside these 2-3 days where you're turning in old work. First off, now you have me wasting 2 to 3 days of learning a new lesson on top of us already being at a place where we're wasting time, or we're losing learning time because we have, all these tests. Now we went from doing FSA, which was at the end of the year, to now we do FAST, which is 3 times a year, but it's 3 times 3 to 4 different subjects. So you're thinking that is better for them, and it can be, because it allows you to see that the students, sometimes they are energized, their brain is focused at particular times a day, whereas other times they just don't care because it's a test. They just don't want to put forth any effort. And then of course being told that it doesn't count for anything, that doesn't help, because then of course if I'm being told I got to take a test but it really don't count, I'm gonna BS the test too. And so that's a detriment to them, because then it puts them in remedial classes. They're not gonna work as hard or put forth as much work because they don't really care. They don't care to come to school. There's no importance of it. It's just my parents forced me to come to school. Or even with the parents, when you make a call home, especially in some of the areas, the type of areas that I work in, it is, well, I don't even know what to do with my child. I just, I'm just making sure that they get there however many times a year I have to allow them to go to school so that the police, and I learned, what is it called? Um, I, I just had it. I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend right now. Like I had it at the tip of my tongue and I lost it. But so that the police officer doesn't come in and pretty much try to take my child from me, which is crazy. You want to put them in a system because they didn't bring their child to school? Like if they don't, if what they trying to do doesn't, um, it doesn't take that, then why interfere? Just let these kids stay home if that's what they want to do and their parents okay with it. Because everybody's not, I'm not gonna say everybody's not meant to be successful, because that's not true, but everybody's not meant to have the same type of determination for everything. I feel that every child doesn't have to or need to go to college. um, and I see that push, and I get a lot of parents who do a lot of pushback, like, no, my child's going to college. And I'm like, your child doesn't like to read, nor write, nor do they enjoy being in school. Why would you push them to that? Go tell your child to go into sales, because that's where you're going to get the bang for your buck without having a degree. Sales makes a lot of money, especially if it's high end sales or high closing sales. Tell your child to go in sales. If not, tell your child to go into insurance. Go tell your child to go to a trade school. See what they're interested in and allow them to do that, because as of right now, this isn't it for them. So, and then if you have one of those kids who are very smart, just let them get a GED and then move on into the field so they can start making money, because the end goal is to make money. So, uh, I don't know, y'all. I'd be baffled by stuff. I digress because I kind of went off topic, but I said what I wanted to say with that. However, like I was saying, my students, we had this conversation today where I was telling them, I'm no longer accepting late work. Usually my stuff stays open from Monday to Friday and they could get it in. So that was the on time but late. So that means that it was due Monday and I graded it and I went to put everything in on Monday, but you chose to wait until Friday to do all your assignments. And that was one of my issues, is that students want to wait until the absolute last moment. And I understand procrastination. And then they want to submit everything on that one day and just joke around and lollygag and talk to their friends all week. And it's like, no, that's not what we do here. Or you'll have, a group of students, 5 students, they all want to sit and talk, but then you got 2 of them that's getting their work done, completed, good grades. And the other 3, they thinking that, oh, well, you know, we all doing the same. And it's like, no, they getting their work done. And this is why you're failing, because you're thinking that you're at the same point as these people, but they care about their grades and they're doing what they need to do. And I think also another issue is our students are accustomed to just turning in work and getting a decent grade, and they're failing my class right now because at this point I told them I'm going to um, give you the grade that you earn. So just because you turn in work, and this is what has happened, right? They've been accommodated where they turn in work, the even though it's wrong, it's all wrong all the way. All the information is wrong. The least, or the lowest grade that they can receive is a 50F. Whereas now, if you got nothing wrong, right, it's a 0. And I'm putting it in as a 0. And they're not used to seeing these zeros, but we do enough work and there's enough productivity where their grades can be balanced. And what I'm finding is, because they're not doing the work whatsoever, that's all I have in there is all these zeros. And it is a lot of work for me, because you got to think about, you one person doing 6 assignments, me one person doing 6 assignments times 158 students. So it's a lot. And then of course, then getting work turned in extra late. Um it's just not what it is, because then I become weighed down, overworked, underpaid, and all the other stuff. And everybody's like, well, you. And it's like, no, it's not just me. It's the environment as a whole. So I told my students that if I have to change the environment for us all to be successful, then that's what's going to happen. We have to be able to produce. We have to be able to work hard. We have to be able to be diligent and work with fidelity. So um, there's things that have to come down the pipeline, that has to change and adjust. And I want everyone to be as successful as possible. However, their success is all based off of their productivity and what they do, because at this point I have held you first and second semester. I've lightly, carried you the first semester. Second semester, held your hand and walked beside me, and now I'm telling you, it's time for you to do your best. You have to do this on your own, because, of course, I want to also make sure that I'm doing my job, which is to prepare you for ninth grade, but to prepare you for the next grade level and beyond. Whether that is for if you just want to graduate high school, if you want to go into college or go into the workforce, my job at this position is to make sure that you're as successful as possible. And these are the conversations that I have with my students. And I told them that we're going to start making phone calls home. And if they have a D or F in my class, then I feel sorry for them, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them introduce their parents to me. They're going to call first, because I love for it to be a unit, us to all know and be on the same accord. Um, but they'll call their parents, they'll introduce them to me, and what I'm going to say is, your child, this is the grade that they have. They're doing well in my class. I'm talking to each and every parent. Or I'm going to say, your child has whatever grade, low, if it's a low grade, it's a low grade. And if they have a D or F, I'm going to say they're failing. And at this point, I'm going to recommend that they be retained. And I have not been this way in my 6 years of teaching. However, um, I have to do better as a teacher. I have to make sure that they are prepared and that they understand their responsibilities and accountability to themselves, and not just pushing it off on other people. Because you're not in a it's not like you can't do the work. Yes, there are some things that you don't know, but that just means you have to work harder. And some of them really feel as though if I don't look at it and I don't get it the first time, that's it. And it's like, no, you got to work. You guys, whatever work you don't do in class, it becomes homework. I'm giving you additional days ahead of time. And so at this point, I've done everything. I'm making sure that if you have well, I make accommodations for all my students, period. But especially if you have a 504 plan, an IEP, ESE, LY, have any language issues or whatever have you, the resources are available. I make sure that I've put in things that can staffle and assist them. But at some point, again, my true honest belief, you can't push it on a teacher. My job is to teach. My job is to present information. My job is to break it down and make it simple. And I'm making it as simple and as plain as it can be. If you're not digesting it, if you have, other learning disabilities, that's something different. We need to make sure that you're getting the help that you need. But your parents also need to make sure that you have tutors or something. There has to be something else there um, that they assist you with, because that is not a me issue. That's not a me thing. I can only do exactly what I'm doing right now. And in all honesty, I'm going above and beyond. And if you're not even attempting to do the work, how can I fill in those gaps? Because you're then not trying. And I've given out, like, for writing. We have a 5 paragraph essay that's due. They've been doing 5 paragraph essays. They start, I believe, in third grade, if I'm not mistaken, with writing. By fifth grade, you should be able to write a 5 paragraph essay. You're now in eighth grade, and you're still asking, what is the prompt saying? What? You don't know how to pull information from 2 or 3 different places and put it together and create your own thought. You have no critical thinking. You can't think on your own. Like, no. And it's because people keep trying to baby them in some aspects and hold their hands, and it's like we can't keep doing this, because when you go over to the ninth grade, you're getting into those I'm an adult moments, and nobody's gonna do this for you. It's You should be prepared for it. That's why they had the whole TV show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? At fifth grade, you should be done. At that point, I'm just stacking on things and making it more clear, because the standards, they just build on it. Maybe two or three words change in each benchmark or standard, um, to get more in depth for them to get more information from it. But you can't even comprehend the bare basics for me to add on to it. And at that point, it's a everybody problem, but it's definitely not going to be mine alone. Um, and the way that I break things down, the program that they have online gives them, like McGraw Hill has done their thing. I want to definitely give a shout out to McGraw Hill on the book that they've given Florida, and the online features that come with the book, because it definitely has the graphic organizer. They type it into the graphic organizer, it goes ahead and creates the well, if they do it as the thesis statement, it has 3 body paragraphs, so it gives them at least those 4, and then they just have to write in their conclusion. But it gives them step-by-step pieces, again, videos, vocabulary words, practice. Even after the practice, there was the your turn, and it's just like, Miss, well, I don't understand. What did you do the first pieces? You're not going to understand if you never did the first parts, if you just sat there and try to pretend. And I even prepare them before we even go online to do that, because I'm like, let's pad it out. What's the purpose? Who's your audience? What's the topic? What other stories are you going to pull? You wrote all these things, and all I told you, now take that and type it into the computer, and then let's start following each step. And some people are doing it, some people are not, and I'm just like, I can't help you if you're not doing it. There's anywhere between 20 to 30 students in a classroom. We got 50 minutes. Like, there's only so much I can do. And if you're not working personally, if you're not working, whether it's separately or in your group or whatever have you, if you're not working, what do I have to go by? Because I can't open up your brain and pick out stuff and put it on the paper for you. And half the time, that was another issue. I practically would give you the answer and you won't even write it down. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there, because I feel like at this point, now I'm on a soapbox. And shout out to all the teachers that's out here trying. Shout out to all the parents who digging into their children ass, because I got a couple of them and I love them. I had one parent teacher conference, and the parents, both of them came out, and I tell y'all, I could cry right now how hands on they are, how much they were repeating. They were trying to get me together until they got there, and it was like, oh, this is the truth. Well, she been lying on you, and that's the issue, is that I call my parents. The kids do it everything they can for me not to call their parents, because I tell them I call probably every other week. I try to get everything up to date and make sure that I'm looking at the correct grades and whatever else. But yeah, I call my parents, and I'm just like, hey, let's get it. The kids sit there, they talk to their parents. My teacher want me to let you know that I'm failing. I got a D, I got a C, whatever it is. Like, we have a whole conversation. And then, of course, parents want to speak to me. I'm all about it. But I feel like, like I said, the parent and child relationship, you guys have to be able to speak to each other. And they have to be able to articulate what is happening to them. Because that was important for my parents and my family, that a child, before they even go into preschool, can at least tell them, somebody put their hands on me or touch me inappropriately, or, whatever it may be, to be able to be comfortable enough to have a conversation with the parent and say, hey, this is the issue, the quorum. And my thing too with that is to be honest, because the kids they tell tales, they tell a lot of tales. But I give them the opportunity to formulate their own thoughts and to be the writer of it, because I told them, I'm just telling you that you have to tell your parents right now what your grade is, that you know you're working on whatever it is that you're gonna turn into work or whatever have you. I just give them a couple things and say, hey, X, Y, and Z, like this is what you have to say. How you deliver it to your parents is up to you. So most of them need to be saying, I'm failing this class, and my teacher giving me this last opportunity to get this work in. Um, but they try to dress it up sometimes. They're smart enough to do that. But hold on, y'all. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, so they smart enough to do that, and my thing is we just have to get it together, and we have to put accountability where it needs to be. And right now, a lot of accountability, not to say that teachers shouldn't be held accountable, they should, but a lot of accountability that's on these teachers, and they shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It need to be on the student, because that's the only person who can study, who can retain, who takes the test, who does the work. The teachers are there to present information. If they're not getting it, that's one thing. The teacher should be able to notice it, make adjustments, whatever it is. They should be able to explain how they're doing it to simplify it. I break stuff down. I've had students who, tested at a level 1 and it's not testing at a level 4. I have some who don't speak, who barely spoke any English, test at a low 1 and not at a high 1. So I have it all over the board, and I've had the opposite effect where you have students who were testing at a 2 or a 3, and now they're a 2 or a 1. And so it's not many of them, but it does happen, and sometimes it's because there's some confusion, and so it's my job to figure out where that confusion is coming in at, and where I can help and assist them to push them forward. Um, and to make those corrections and adjustments. But some students, it's nothing. Like you're not, again, if you're not doing the work, there's no way for me to help you. I want you to do the work and get it wrong. I'd rather you get it wrong, do it and get it wrong, so that I can see what you know and what your thought process is. Be able to explain to me why you chose the answer that you chose, so I can help. First I can understand, and I said, "Oh, okay, I get it," and then I can help you in your thought process. Um, but I was supposed to be ending this, y'all. I got wrapped up. But again, shout out to the parents who care, who try to do the work, who come in, listen to the teacher, who become partners with the teachers, who don't come from a hurt place because they felt like they went through whatever, but who are honestly, um, genuinely trying to work through whatever the situation is with their child and the teacher, um, and themselves. Because if you don't know it, you need to figure it out. If you can't figure it out, you need to find somebody who do, so that you can help assist your child and get to that next level. Because again, it's your 1 to 5 kids, maybe 10. All 10 of them ain't in the same classroom, but it's your one child to you, one person, um, to the teacher that's 30 kids in the class. Easy, easy. We hit 30 easy, and they still trying to stuff them in there. And it's like, how? But needless to say, shout out to all the great teachers that good, great, mediocre. Shout out to the people who go in and fill in the classroom, have a body in the room. Because at this point, sometimes that's all you get is a body in the room. But shout out to y'all for showing up, presenting the information, and not getting paid for the work that you actually do. Just being honest. But all right, y'all. Coming soon, I'm gonna have some classes. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna have some classes. You won't see me, whatever. It'll be just like what this is here with YouTube, some pre-recorded material. But I'm gonna have some classes and break some stuff down. It's a lot of stuff in the works, um, because we need help. Everybody need a little help, and if that's how you gonna get it, that's exactly how you gonna get it. So all right, y'all. Let me rest my nerves. Grade some papers. All right, because I told the kids I ain't. I'm not even giving them to midnight. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna probably give it an hour. I already gave it two while I didn't get paid, so I give it probably another hour while I'm not getting paid, and that's it. all this grading and working and doing stuff while I'm not getting paid, that don't work as well this year like it did the previous years. But if they turned it in on time, they wouldn't have this to worry about. I digress. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later. Let me. I was gonna say let me get comfortable. Let me not get too comfortable because I'll be ready to go to sleep then. But I'm gonna get comfortable. Let me put on me a little TV or something. I mean a little some kind of show. Maybe I'll watch Abbott Elementary. So go check that out. All right. I love y'all. Bye.